Hi everyone, my name is Priyanka and welcome to my vlog. Today I'm going to talk about how you need to confuse people with your silence. Now, this is a very controversial topic because people tell me that I'm not supposed to say anything to anyone. How am I going to live my life? I cannot stay silent. I have to speak up my mind. I have to talk about my life to others. See, the idea is not to overshare your life. If you have been doing that, you are already witnessing a lot of misinformation about your life circulating in your circle. Also, if you have no idea how to carry on a great conversation, you will simply feel that people walk away midway whenever you're having a conversation with them. So, the idea here is to use silence to your advantage, not simply staying silent when somebody is bullying you. No, you have to speak up. You have to speak up if you're going through tough times. You have to talk about your problems. It's not that. The idea here is to not overshare and speak out of turn. And the idea here is not to speak so much that you don't allow anybody else to be a part of a conversation. So let's get on with it. So the first point is that you have to get comfortable with not giving a response. If let's say you are in middle of a conversation and suddenly somebody starts poking fun at you, they speak to you in a manner which requires you to respond negatively, and you end up actually responding negatively, you end up reacting actually. And if you're doing that pretty often, then you realize that you're losing that essence of who you are. You're simply playing their game. So this is where you have to stay silent because it's going to do wonders for you. Let's say you are facing a lot of office politics and somebody has an agenda towards you. They come up and speak to you in such a manner that you come across as a bully, but you're not a bully. It's just that you end up reacting most times. So, whenever you are being provoked, take a moment to stay silent. Allow yourself the grace of silence for at least a minute. 60 seconds is all it takes for you to stop giving that reaction. You have to stop giving that reaction because it is not going to do anything wonderful in your life. You will end up reacting, then you'll end up feeling guilty, then you'll end up feeling miserable, and people are going to misuse that reaction to their advantage. So, if you're somebody who's facing a lot of problems because you react a lot, so it's time for you to learn the art of staying silent just for 60 seconds. And that's all it takes for you to gather your wits around and speak your mind in a clear tone, not to shout at people, not to get angry at people, not to react at people. And this is why I was trying to tell you that you need to confuse people with your silence. Coming on to the second point, whenever you speak a lot and you keep on repeating stuff, you'll realize that people do not want to be a part of a conversation that you are having. They simply walk away because you don't want to listen to them. Now, if you are facing that problem, that whenever you speak up, people simply don't have any interest in whatsoever you're talking because they know that you are going to keep on talking so much that you'll never allow them to speak up. And if you're facing that problem where people walk away from the conversations in which you are a part of, then you need to step back and start practicing a bit of silence here and there. I'm not asking you to stop speaking altogether because that would be not a good thing for you. So, the fundamental truth is that you must become a great listener because it's going to help you in just allowing people to show their side too. You will get an opportunity to see people for who they are. Now, if you're constantly talking, you will never understand who are these people, what kind of people you're interacting with, because you are simply talking so much that you do not allow them to speak their mind, and you do not know much about them, you don't understand them, you have no clarity of so many people in your life because you are always talking. And let me tell you, I was a non-stop talker. I have experienced this, and once I started, practicing some silence in my life, I realized that I was able to understand people a lot better because it gave me that space to comprehend what they were actually talking about. Sometimes people will talk to you directly, but you don't want to listen to them. You don't want to understand that they're coming at you with a hidden agenda. The way they speak up, their tone, something that you miss entirely because you are so busy trying to put across your point, or so busy listening on or hearing on to your own voice. And if you are someone like me, from my past, then I will tell you that this is something that you must correct immediately, because you will be able to find out what kind of people you are interacting with. It's going to allow you to decipher people that are coming in your life, because you are standing still and listening on to their tone of voice and whatever they are trying to communicate to you directly. And sometimes you miss those cues because you're so busy just trying to listen on to your own voice. Coming on to the third point, whenever you sit in stillness, you realize that it allows you a break from so much of um, stimulus that's happening in your life now. You're always on the phone, you're always looking at your screens or talking to people, or you're always watching TV, or you're on your computers doing your work. There is never a break for you, and you need that break, because that silence is going to allow you to just gather your thoughts around. If you are living in a very chaotic environment, it is time for you to actually practice some silence, and that silence can come in the form of meditation. You can sit around in stillness and meditate and enjoy your life for 15 minutes. Just enjoy that time with yourself, because you hardly get any time with yourself. And that me time doesn't mean that you go out shopping, or you sit and watch TV, or you read a book. Those me times are great, but actual me time is when you start sitting with your own self in stillness, in meditation. Just close your eyes for 15 minutes every day and sit in a form of thoughtlessness, because that is going to allow you to simply register what's happening in your life. All of that chaos that's happening in your life is not allowing you to really make some powerful decisions. You are now addressing everything in your life from a point of chaos. And if you want to address things in your life from a point of stability, then you have to meditate, you have to sit in stillness, because that way you will allow yourself some grace time to make better decisions. Coming on to the fourth point, true confidence is when you understand when to speak up and when not to speak up. So, whenever you want to portray a strong, confident personality, you must come across as somebody who can hold their tongue and speak only when they want to speak up. You will find that you get offended very easily when people just keep on talking. They irritate you because they simply talk on so much, and you don't look them up as people who have any control over themselves. So a person who's always in control of their tongue, who's always aware of how they're speaking and when they're speaking, comes across as a confident person. And if you want to build that confidence in your life, you must learn the art of staying silent and only speak up when your time is right. Don't just ramble on, and don't cut people in middle of their sentences, because that doesn't show a confident person. That shows a person who is lacking some basic manners, and that is a person who doesn't understand social etiquettes. So it is time for you to build a confident personality, and time for you to just stand there and first listen on to people and then give your opinions when the timing is right. So you have to really play on with the timing. You have to understand that there is a time to speak up, and then there is a time to just stand there and witness that conversation taking place. Now, if you don't want to be a witness to that conversation, then you are no longer a part of that conversation. You're simply having a conversation with yourself, and people will just walk away because they understand that you don't understand how to hold on to great conversations, that you are not a confident speaker. So if you want to impress people and you want to portray a very strong and confident personality, simply use timing to your benefit. Speak only when the timing is right. So fifth point is that whenever you sit in stillness, you will get great ideas, because stillness allows you to access that depth of information and knowledge that is available to everybody. You will say that, oh, how can that knowledge be available to everybody? You have to read books, you have to listen to so many podcasts, and that's the only way you can gain knowledge in this world. But let me tell you, there is an inner intelligence working right within you. But you have no access to that inner intelligence because you simply do not want to sit in stillness, you don't want to meditate. And that supreme consciousness that is present in everybody is present in you too. And there is a depth of wisdom and knowledge that is lying untapped. You have not even seen the potential that you can have in this life of yours. You don't know your potential at all. You simply have just scratched onto the surface. And if you want to really fulfill your dream of trying to, improve upon yourself, you want to do better in this life of yours, then you have to sit in stillness. Because what meditation does is it allows you to access that wisdom. Now, until unless you have ever sat down in stillness or meditation, you'll not understand what I'm talking about, because to you it will be all about gaining knowledge from outside world. Yes, it's amazing to read books, yes, it's amazing to listen on to podcast, but what about decision making? When it is time for you to make the right decisions, you rely on everybody except yourself, because you don't want to tap onto your inner intelligence. You don't know what is right and wrong for you. You are so confused in this life of yours, and you don't have great ideas regarding yourself. You always rely on ideas of others. So you pick ideas from somebody else in your life. You will go on the internet, you'll see somebody doing great in a field. And although you are not talented enough, although you don't have the skill sets or the motivation or the interest, you'll go and pick those ideas and start practicing those ideas in your life. And then you face failures because you cannot be consistent enough on someone else's idea. If you want to really improve your life, if you want to test your potential, you have to first understand who you are. But you have no understanding of who you are, you have no wisdom on your own inner intellect, that intellect that is available to you at all times, because you do not want to sit in stillness, you don't want to meditate, you don't want to even sit for 5 minutes alone, because that's a scary thought, to sit in stillness. It's a scary thought to be alone with yourself. And it is time for you to sit in meditation and sit in stillness to understand who you are. Once you start understanding who you are, you can then connect those dots and you can bring in some great ideas in your life that are going to work for you. Now, sixth point is that let silence be your companion, because that companion is going to provide you with instant feedback. You cannot rely on people around you to keep giving you feedback. Let's say you're in a situation and you have to make an instant decision. The timing is of a sense. You have to decide within a few seconds or minutes. That is when that silent companion of yours is going to help you. That silence that you've been practicing is going to allow you to remain calm and to remain stable. You will not lose your wits. And this is something that's going to provide you with so much of inner strength, because what happens to most people is that when they go through tough times, when they have to decide instantly, you know, they cannot decide. Then they lose themselves in the chaos, and they are unable to pick up their pieces. If you are silent enough, let's say 15 minutes in a day, just not having any thoughts, just working upon your chaotic mind, you will find yourself responding to some really emergency situations in a very calm and composed way. And that is going to propel your life to greater heights, because you are not going to fear the unknown. You're not going to fear some decision of yours that is coming in from other people. Whenever you decide some emergency decisions in your life based on what others are telling you without really asking yourself if this is something that you can do, what's going to happen is you're going to face a lot of fear. You're going to face a lot of stress and anxiety. And if you want to remove that stress and anxiety, it is time for you to sit in stillness and meditate. Now, coming on to the last and the seventh point, and that is you will be able to handle some very toxic people in your life, because that silent moment that you need just before responding to toxic people is going to allow you to just gather your thoughts. And these toxic people are the ones you have never been able to let go. You surround yourself with these people because they are family members, and you cannot create drama with them over and over again, because you have to meet them. You have to be a part of their lives, or they have to be a part of your lives, and yet you end up reacting to them. So, this is where that silence is going to help you, because you will end up simply not reacting, and that is going to confuse them. And they will have to now stand and witness their own actions. So, in a way, you're forcing them to come out of the hiding corners, because these are some very manipulative people who have never showed their true colors to you or to anyone else. And if you stop and just take a breather and stop and do not react to such people, what's going to happen is they are going to come out of the woodwork, and they are going to show their true colors to you and to the world around them. And this way, you will simply lord that silent moment that you took. So, silence is going to be a wonderful tool that you can use. But at the same time, make sure that you always speak up your mind. Not about staying silent no matter what's happening to you. That is not the purpose of this vlog. You should be confident enough to speak your mind whenever you are going through some tough times. Now, I hope you understood how silence can benefit you, how it can help you lead a life of ease and wellness. Love my vlog. Do like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.